Locally and nationally, the Trump administration's decision to strike Venezuela, remove Maduro from power, and temporarily run the country has split reaction down the aisle. Some Democratic lawmakers emphasizing their belief that President Trump's action was illegal. Meanwhile, some Republicans agree, saying they wish Congress had been involved, but they tell Fox 40 at the end of the day, they believe the world is a better place.
First of all, it wasn't illegal because for it had to been illegal, it must have been. It had to be. This is not a war. This is not actual takeover. This is an opportunity for the Venezuelan people to actually get over. The Venezuelan people to actually get rid of a president who was trying to run a narco state and leaving his citizens behind while enriching his stuff and staying in power and trying to run, like I said, drugs over here into the United States. He's been known to do that for a long time. Even President Biden uh, had mentioned this dude and put out a warrant out. Put a warrant out for this dude's arrest. He's been escaping this all this time. He had an opportunity to get out away from it for Trump, um, and he just refused to do so. I don't even think nobody. Excuse me. It wasn't a warrant out for his. If there was a warrant out for his arrest, or he was not recognized as the president of Venezuela. The person who is currently um, expected to take over Venezuela is the vice president that was over there. But it was definitely legal. Nobody just wanted to go over there and snatch this dude up.
It was dark, and it was deadly.
President Donald Trump announcing the United States will, quote, run Venezuela for the time being. This after a series of overnight strikes in the South American country and the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. Now, as Maduro remains in New York, awaiting arraignment for narcoterrorism charges, here in Northern California, lawmakers are weighing in.
That's illegal.
By the way, there's been talk that of Venezuela actually becoming a 51st state of the United States. I don't believe that's going to happen. If anything, I think that it will be a territory, possibly, but I don't think that it would ever become a state. It will never become a state. It will be somewhere similar to Puerto Rico. It's so much that the United States did for that country. It would be crazy not to, uh, you know, just build the country up and just give it back to the Venezuelan people. When the same thing that happened in uh, with regards to when Hugo, the President Hugo was there, um, contracts changed, things began to change, and they basically pushed out the American corporations who actually gave them the technology and the resources to actually begin to um, use their oil reserves. So basically, they gave them all the refining technology, so that, and that's how they realized that, Venezuela, this is some good oil they got over here, but the refineries have run awry basically, and there is not even, there's a low refinement going on because the refineries are toe up, and what Trump is trying to go over there, what Trump is trying to do right now, because this guy is captured. He needed to get captured. Um, he would just, he like he said, they didn't recognize him as the president, but also that's not the worst thing. The worst thing, he was, uh, running drugs into the United States, and Trump is going hard on people right now. I don't know how, if I don't know what state you in, but I know in Los Angeles, man, it's horrible out here. In what regards, in regards to the people that is using these drugs, man, it's something that is like eating their bodies up. They look, you just get tired of seeing them, and it's a sad thing. It's a real sad thing.
For the president to take a wartime action unless there's an imminent threat to the United States.
Democratic Congressman Ami Bera tells Fox 40 Congress had a classified briefing before the holiday break with federal leaders including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane.
And we asked them point blank if they intended to do regime change, if they were going to take actions on the ground. And they either lied to us because they said no, or they misled us.
According to the Constitution, Congress has sole power to declare war. Bera calling the Trump administration's undisclosed attack shocking. Republican.
This is not a war. This is not a war. I mean, he's going at the terrorists. This applies under a whole nother statute. This is why Trump has used that statute. He doesn't need to declare war. He's gone beyond the use of Congress to declare war. And I forget what this statute is called, but it's like something with regards to terrorism. You know, you don't have to declare war on terrorists to go get them, especially when they're running drugs into your country. This is not war, people. This is simply, Trump taking care of terrorists. And not only that, going and get everything that the country Venezuela stole from America. So it's like, it works hand in hand. He went to go get, America's stuff back. Even though it is in their land, they're like, man, you wouldn't even have that. And then you're not supporting us, and then you support other countries along with that. That is like wrong. We gave you the technology, and then on top of that, you won't even use it for the development of your people. That's how corrupt this dude was.
And Congressman Kevin Kiley also reacting to Maduro's removal.
Well, the world is a better place with Maduro out of power. This is now an opportunity, I think, to assure that the people of that country get to have the right to self-determination and democracy and freedom that they've been denied for so long.
Kiley agreeing he favors Congress being informed.
I do think that it is vitally important that moving forward, Congress is centrally involved.
However, he addressed another perspective.
I also recognize that the element of surprise is vitally important in operations like this.
But Bera warns.
I'm going to tell you how they're going to be involved in the future. Congress is going to be involved with not trying to make Venezuela a 51st state, but they are going to be involved in attempting to make Venezuela a territory. Most definitely. It's too much oil over there. Venezuela is at the helm of the United States. You know what I'm saying? If there's not a smooth transition with regards to this vice president that they hope will run Venezuela now that Nicolas Maduro is gone, they will find somebody, right? They're hoping for a smooth transition. Trump's people are going to run it until such happens. But also, you got to worry about Colombia. Colombia is coming next. Colombia is next. This is a setup for Colombia. Even though the Cubans were more of the Venezuelans' friends, and that's who was guarding Nicolas Maduro, but still, stuff has to run up a chain to come up into America. Like this, Nicolas Maduro was like kind of like the source. You know what I'm saying? Colombia has been was like the supply chain in terms of the refinement, just like you would do oil. They the ones who kind of was like manufacturing and getting it prepped. Then it was gonna go through Mexico, and then it was gonna come into the United States in some parts. However, here you are. They was using boats to get the stuff over, saying they was trying to skip all the whole supply chain thing, especially with the cartels finding Mexico. They was trying to skip them and do it straight over with boats. Send it straight over with boats, right? And do the refinement and do whatever they needed to do to the drugs to get it ready and ripe for American citizens. That's why they started just taking them out.
Letting this slide could set a dangerous precedent.
Is he going to send troops to be on the ground, American men and women who could be in harm's way? He is going to have to explain that both to Congress, but also to the American people.
And he ain't gonna have no problem with doing that. You know, that's gonna be an easy. So it's gonna take it may take some time for this whole thing to play out with regards to actually fixing the refineries that's in Venezuela. Some may say it's going to take years, some up to 10 years. The crude oil is a stable crude oil, and with potential lower costs for refineries. You know what I'm saying? That's already here, and it's going to reduce reliance on import from the Middle East. You know, we're not really getting that much that much oil from Russia right now because of the sanctions. But this is a move, particularly when you think about China, how China needs this oil, even though the China main, you know, source of its energy supply come from coal. Oil is very important too. So they're going to have to find other ways to get it. And that's certainly if they want to continue messing with America. See, China did something wrong. China did something wrong. They want to go talk about their rare earths, but the only thing there's rare earth everywhere. The United States just found out they had some rare earth that's just as good as China in Colorado. There's rare earth everywhere. So when the Chinese try to say that we're going to hold back our rare earths around the world, all China has is the technology to refine it into what it needs to be so that we have the ability to use it. Venezuela got rare earth as well. So this is going to work hand in hand for not only for the Venezuelan people, but also for the United States citizen. My only play is like, what is California? What part of it is California going to play? Like, you know, California has, you know, the engineers, the tech, regulations, the compliance regulations that you would need to actually, you know, get them, you know, refineries that's in Venezuela in the shape. You know, they can look at all the compliance measures and stuff like that. It's you know, and the technology alone that California can offer. Even though, you know, we have the people that can help and assist, like Chevron, to get these refineries in Venezuela together. Here we are. We're going to be lacked on the whole source of being able to get a deal on some good oil. Because, like I said, Valero is about to leave right now from California in Phillips, and that's 17% of what California just regularly take in. They provide California with 17% of their oil through their refineries. Sinclair may take over, but I doubt that, because who wants to deal with California regulations and mandates?
Further congressional discussion set to take place next week. Fox 40 asked Representative Barra what accountability could look like if lawmakers determine the president's actions to be unconstitutional.
The only power we have to hold the president accountable is impeachment. This is a dangerous situation that we're in. And again, I hope we can find our way out of this.
You already found your way out of it. Accept the oil. Be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't did nothing wrong. This is not war. He went to go get a terrorist. He went over there and got a terrorist. Was y'all crying when Obama went over there and got Osama bin Laden? What about when Bush went over there and got Saddam Hussein? There was no cry about that. So how did this become an issue when now that Trump went over there in Venezuela and got to go get Nicolas Maduro, a person who the United States been on for a long time, and just nobody's done nothing about it. You know, the Democratic Party, man, is so busy trying to fight Trump when they need to be working with Trump. That's just like Gavin Newsom. I'm worried about what Gavin Newsom is. Why you trying to find somebody to buy these refineries that's Valero about to leave behind? You should be calling Trump like, man, how can we help? We got the technology, we got the engineers, we got everything you need, but we're about to get left, you know, we're about to get, left stuck. And it's sad because with the amount of time that it's going to take to get these refineries up and running and the benefit of providing a low cost, low, importing this oil from Venezuela to reduce the prices of our gasoline. California just don't want no piece of that, and Gavin Newsom ain't gonna stand up for the people and put his little differences aside with regards to Trump. You still gonna be on your little Trump rant because he called you Newscom? What's that about? Think about it. So what he call you Newscom? What about us? And he's not. I'm not saying that he's hasn't walked it back. Donald Trump hasn't walked it back the name because Donald Trump called everybody a name. He called everybody a name, man. But he has sense enough to do a deal with people. And I believe that Donald Trump is a person that actually cares about the nation now. Like I said, that he may be a person that wants to take care of the, his friends, right, in the oil business. You know what I'm saying? However, Chevron is going to stay there because they already there. What if Valero go over there and begin to help Trump and then ain't got no refineries out here to produce that oil out here in California? It's one thing, right, it's one thing for us to elect someone. One thing for us to elect someone. It's another thing for uh, someone to begin to really feel like they ultimately run you and your corporation. Do you not know that the mandates that is on California right now, with regards to this whole idea of green energy and them, having a standard for the carbon emissions so high that these oil companies couldn't actually, even with all the money they have for research and development, these companies couldn't get it together in time for the whole ideas in which the Democratic Party has for California, that these companies have to leave because they're going to be getting hit with fines. $1 billion Valero is paying to exit California. Chevron hasn't gotten up, but they're leaving their headquarters. They're going to another state. And people are about to get hit with a $10, $12 gas that's per gallon. If you drive an SUV in California, boy, it don't matter if you drive an SUV or not. Man, that's more than that. Man. I don't want to say a Happy Meal, but man, I think McDonald's probably got the cheapest food, but man, like, man, that's gonna be rent every month, bruh. You trying to get to work, man. You gonna be buying gas just to go to work and not get fired. You ain't gonna be able to go to gas, pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? Because you gonna be sleeping in your car. You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna be paying $10, $12 for gas especially with these roads out here in in LA. There's so many people out here in LA, bro. The traffic, once it hit about 3 o'clock, anywhere between 3 o'clock and 7:30, traffic. You sitting in traffic. All these lights stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. The more you stop and go, that gonna take gas from the gas tank, right? Freeways, crowded. 405, crowded. 110, crowded. 105, crowded. The 60, crowded. The 10, crowded. You know what I'm saying? Man, and most people, a lot of people, is traveling just to go from just to drive 13 miles during rush hour is gonna take you about hour 15 minutes. That's gas. And it's so a demonstration of the Republican Party, of the Democratic Party, because people got to realize that the Democratic Party, for one, hasn't run away from the ideas of, and I'm going to say it point blank, they haven't run from the ideas of slavery. Democrat is supposed to, they act like they a party for the small person, but think of this. They put these carbon emission mandates up, right? They put these mandates on the companies. And then on top of that, they were trying to make all Californians buy electric vehicles through their regulations and their mandates. This was the big scheme all along. And why not extend the time for these individuals to get what you're asking for, instead of just push. See, that's the thing of what I'm saying about Democrats, right? Because either you're gonna play by their rules or you're gonna get out. You're gonna be run by us, Democrats, or you're not going to be able to play. You're not going to be able to play ball. See, we want control of you. Just like we want control of the people, in the way that they was going to control the people, we was going to have to buy all these EV vehicles, right? Tesla had got all these credits to build up its manufacturing out here in California. But the infrastructure for us all to have an electric car is not there yet. For everybody to have an electric vehicle out in California, that's madness right now in itself, because the infrastructure is not there. And a lot of these places are not even fitted with, chargers. When you go to charge your car up, you might find 2 charging ports for your car. If you're lucky, you'll find 6. But unless you Tesla with designated areas to go charge your car at, Tesla may have up to like 20. But anybody else like ChargePoint, something like that, you probably find like 2 in a parking lot. The infrastructure is not there to meet the mandates, and you about to fine a corporation for not delivering on what you wanted when the infrastructure is not there. And you're going to shove it down their throat to fine them. And first of all, I don't know why the mandate is even there in the first place, because Trump already said that California couldn't act as its own country with all these carbon emission laws. But California still seems to do what they want to do, huh? That's why I steady ask, if there's any state that really needs some serious help, yeah, Illinois, yeah, Washington. But I'm talking about political help. It's California. California needs a lot of political help right now because the Democrats are running this state in the dirt. We got a homeless problem, for one. Yeah, the homeless problem. We're number one in immigration. The only thing that California is doing good in right now is AI. Number one in AI. Bravo. However, when it comes to being a business friendly environment, California is like, I think it's like out of 50, it's 42 with the largest population, the fourth economy of the world. And that's pretty much all they got to brag about is immigration being the fourth economy of the world and AI. Anything else? Probably, no, I was about to say the biggest prison population, but Texas got us California beat with the biggest prison population. California does have more prisons, though. And this is what has really got to be seen with regards to Democrats. They haven't detached themselves from the ideas that they have in slave times. Their whole idea is about control. Is not to allow you to be free. How can you be a political party in the United States if you don't want people to be free? You're acting like you're for the little guy, but you're just trying to control everybody. Everything that the Democrats is, everything that the Democrats pushes is about control, and they showed you with the government shutdown. The people that they supposed to help so much, they was hurting with the government shutdown. Now this wealth tax about to come up, and here we are. Now we about to see rich folks leave. So I want to make sure y'all understand that these are the jobs that, in order to rebuild Venezuela infrastructure with regards to refineries, engineering jobs, construction jobs, environmental remediation, logistics, technology, and California has major firms in energy engineering, environmental compliance, oil field services, and industrial technology. At least here we have the workforce. And because we have the workforce, we should be able to get some kickbacks because the oil that is about to come from Venezuela is about to be dirt cheap. That's why China was messing with Venezuela. And plus Venezuela had loans from China. So China was already there. Russia was just an investor. But if that spot alone, Venezuela got the largest world oil reserves, thick crude oil. You know how much the United States can do with that? Not only as a world power and sanctions and being, using energy as a tool to dominate and trade. You know what I'm saying? The United States can use that oil for, not only the building up of Venezuelan economy, but our economy. But California is not about to be a part of the economy. Everybody else about to get in, but California. I'm just saying from perspective of, I want to see California make good on something because out of nearly $20 trillion that's being invested, I've only seen one corporation, and that is the Apple. I think they're going to be going to Modesto or Merced, and that is in Central California. But when I speak in LA, ain't no dollars coming to LA. And we got buildings out here that is empty. A lot of manufacturing business out here that's empty. But LA, if you just not cutting it, if you're not building warplanes, and that's what Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and McDonnell Douglas. If you want to do shipbuilding, you got to go to San Diego. As densely as a population is in Los Angeles ain't getting none of that. With all the diversity we got in this city alone, I don't know. I just, you know, I just feel bad for the people that escaped the hood and went to move to Palmdale, Lancaster, and all that. And you still got to make that drive back every day. You live in Ontario or somewhere like that. Now, I ain't talking about Ontario, Canada. I'm talking about, California. Because I know for me to get to work right now, sometime I got to go. It takes me an hour. So this is sad. Gavin Newsom needs to get his act together. I'm glad he's recognized that Trump is right about illegal immigration and the closing of the border, and has said that he was willing to work with Trump with regards to sanctuary cities, but he does have some requests. Even though it fared well in regards to COVID-19 in comparison with other states within the United States, it didn't do so bad with people of, our large population, right? Still, it needs to get better with the corporations, because it can't use corporations should not be controlled by the state. Corporations need room to actually, um, you know, think of ideas to make the state better, not the state dictating the ideas. And that's what California try to do in this area, and Californians are about to hurt from. And I can speak for the people in Los Angeles. So, Los Angeles, speak up. He's about to attempt to go and be president of the United States in 2028. Seeing all the failures that is coming about, and there's like dark failures. When I see Los Angeles, that has to be seriously adjusted, and that Donald Trump can actually come in here and fix. However, Gavin Newsom's unwillingness to kind of fix this situation with regards to the oil industry, and just wants to leave the mandates set in place, like anybody can comply with them, or that like anybody wants to come in and be faced with the fines with regards to giving California the energy it needs, so that we won't have gas prices already a niche state with regards to it's this oil production and stuff like that. It's a niche state. We can't get a lot of it. We do import a lot of it from Asia, and I don't know. I think that's India, Saudi Arabia. We'll have to input more. This play with Venezuela, can work out with us for the future. But I hope that California finds a better source of being able to get us some oil, because if not, or try to draw back these taxes. A lot of the taxes that we're paying a lot of money that we paying for gasoline right now is with regards to taxes. California has built up a lot of LA alone has built up a lot of new schools. There's a lot of new schools that wasn't around when I was a child. But when you're surrounded these schools, you see just too much going on. The kids are seeing stuff nowadays on the street that I wasn't seeing when I was a youth. And that's a scary. Things didn't get better, it got worse under under Gavin Newsom. while he's able to brag for being fourth economy in the world, which why I believe that think that he's able to, you know, act as his own country, but California economy is really imploding on itself, and its recession is expected to take place. And I'm thinking about the people of Los Angeles because, you know, Los Angeles. I think that if there's anybody that needs to speak up, San Francisco can speak up, but LA needs to speak up because you are missing out on primarily all of the action when it comes to the investments that's being put into America right now. And the only way that we can stop this whole idea of the Democratic Party was control the corporations and control the people. It's just not to vote for them. Just don't vote for them. Because I have never seen a party that just didn't care about its citizenry so much in no time. It's always the Democrats. It's always the Democrats pushing control, 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 control. Yes, we do need some regulation. That's understandable, but not to the extent to where you push out people, you push out businesses, and the businesses that employ the people in the construction industry, you know, for development of an apartment, you know, for a multi-family out here is a lot. The permits for it, it takes long. People in Palisades, when the wildfires happened last year, still don't have their permits. These are some nice houses, man. These are some nice houses. A whole neighborhood gone. Gone. If you want to vote for Gavin Newsom, you can go ahead, but he's demonstrated to me that he shouldn't be elected president. I'm going to go with Trump on this one. Matter of fact, I'm going to go with Trump. I'm going to go with Trump so much on this that on a Venezuelan takeover, I'm going to give that boy a 5. And that's a 1 out of 5. He going to get a 5 for that. But Gavin Newsom, you don't even deserve a score. You don't deserve to get rated. On the real. Because California it was better under Jerry Brown. Only thing that I could say that Jerry Brown did wrong was he developed the idea of sanctuary city, which, you know, was wrong in itself, and you want to draw back on that whole idea. But you for president, if you can't handle this stuff with these oil companies, after Trump went over there and got some oil, man, you just need to stop politics.